Well, welcome viewers. For many of you who don't know me, I'm Rev Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. I've been a Christian for well over 30 years now, and I got my doctorate in 1994. That's nearly 20 years ago, isn't it? 1994. I've worked in the hospitals, the prisons up here, and I did 15 years on the street. And then went through a family breakdown, which is a story in itself, via interferences, outside interferences, and gave the ministry a bit of a rest after that. Never really went back to it. I was chased by demons and things for well over a decade after that, and eventually they went away. But my goal in life has been to stay straight, to encourage people to be the same, to be athletic, to be honest and transparent, try and be as fair and as loyal to people as you can be, and that's really all I've tried to do. But that's more easily said than done. It's easy for yourself if you know what you're doing yourself and you're prepared to face things that have come against you in life. Even in the boys' home, I never ran into hostility. Usually most of those guys had come to the point in their life where they wanted to just get along with people. There were some sigmas in there, guys that just like to keep to themselves, and that's granted. But there was never hostility. There was always an opportunity for people to get to know each other and sit with each other and this kind of thing. But in the communities today, there's a lot of mummies boys now that have really become hostile, very, very hostile. And it's covert. It's a hatred towards masculinity. And I think it's because of what they've watched happen via men to their mothers or something. That's probably part of it, the full reason for it, I'm not sure. But there's no good coming out of it. These young people aren't learning, giving themselves opportunity to learn from the experiences of others. They don't have to. But to jump to the conclusions that people are bad when they're not is a form of malignant narcissism. And this will manifest itself in many, many ways in the lives of these young men. And I don't think it's working for these people in the right way or for the best outcomes. And a lot of people are working to try and fix these problems, but I think it's coming out of the family structures that are failing. And I didn't have a fully functioning family dimension, but I guess I was always a bit of a loner, so I was out trying to learn things and do things, and I was focused on hobbies and other stuff that I like to do, and had a job as a slaughterman, which kept you busy, and then I became a bricklayer, and I was always trying to develop one way or another, and I guess that probably helped with the situation that got me through all the trouble. Again, as young people, we had bikies that lived in the street, so we could see the trouble that was coming for them, that was drug-related and alcohol-related, how all that failed for them. A lot of those people are dead now. I'm 60, so I've watched them die and how they lived, and it didn't work. Just didn't work. Drugs and alcohol inevitably end up in trouble. People are in personal trouble, individual trouble. They'll make excuses and things and say that they're not, but they're in deep personal trouble. And if they find themselves in a family dynamic where they're all involved in it, it's very hard for them to get their way out. They become obsessive, compulsive. They become enmeshed. They all justify each other and their wounds and problems and troubles. They can't manage relationships. They can't seem to really move forward in life. They do make a lot of money, but they waste most of it. Or the money that they make, the little that they make, they waste. They become dependent on their parents. They wear their parents out. The parents get sick of them if they're not idolizing them on the one hand, they're estranging them on the other. They try and run in-house therapy, which doesn't work. It's very limited and biased, and usually plays into the problem rather than fixing it. Again, they become emotionally enmeshed, which they just abuse each other emotionally, thinking that it's right, by way of sharing all their problems and troubles and intimacy and personal details and of other people and this kind of thing that they're involved with. Overall, the addict's life is a misery. It really doesn't lead them anywhere. They seem to go around in circles. They're always sick, or there's always some mental or emotional issue going on. They're usually going through the courts for something or other, or there's some issue going on. There's fallout here or fallout there. They bring it on themselves. They don't have any self-awareness about how clearly people see them and perceive them, and they take people around them that are trying to live a normal, happy life. They do take these people for granted. They turned up stone-pissed on medications and other stuff, and then they'll use that. If they know they want to get out, they'll just add up the dosage, and they'll piss the other person off enough for them to just say, go away. They're very self-destructive. They've got really nothing to show for themselves. They know that. They despise people that have. They don't take advice from older people. They just like to whinge and project. It's usually about as far as they go, and they just seem to bring trouble on themselves. They'll have little runs with people here and there, and then once they expose themselves, they know it's time to go, of which they'll go back into their hidey hole and continue their abuse. That's about really all there is to it. You have to make decisions. You try not to get involved. Leave them alone. They're better off left alone. You're better off left alone from it. And this is just how it goes for them. They're just not healthy people. And that's unfortunate, because they could be. They get deceived by the people around them because they just feed into each other's egos. There's really not much truth going on. They're a bit frightened of the truth because most of them are living a lie. They live out their lies, and they're very scared underneath, very paranoid, schizophrenic, very victim-martyr mentality style. And that's just how their life goes. They get to the end of their lives, they're miserable, bitter, twisted, they haven't resolved anything, full of resentment and unresolved. A lot of these people get estranged by their children wake up to them. Others, their children never leave them, and that suits them. A lot of them get abused, and just people can't tolerate them once they expose themselves. And that's really sad. It's just sad for them and sad for the people that are trying to be a part of their life. So you're better off leaving these people alone. You're better off staying focused on what's best for you. You will find a lot of these people on the dating sites or hanging around pubs. They're predators. They're just trying to find simple sources of supply that won't cause them too much bother. If you're a person of standards, they won't stay around long. They won't be able to, because their standards are not going to work for most people. And this is the way that they are. This is Rev Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. The Bible says, "Let the wicked man forsake his way, the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return to the Lord and to our God, and he will abundantly pardon you." And that's his promise, and he'll keep it, but it's completely up to you. It's completely up to you. Share this video with someone you know. They need to know that there is a way out, but it's totally up to them. People can't push this kind of stuff. Some people lose limbs, some people go through tragedy, some people go through loss before they wake up. Usually something dramatic's got to happen for them to really wake up and go, "Oh my goodness, now I can see the light." The numbers of people that are coming out of it now are less because the old-fashioned values are being diminished. Victim mentality and martyr mentality is taking over, and it's justifying these behaviors. So anybody that can get out of it these days, it really is a walking miracle. This is Rev Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Thank you for joining me, and bye for now.